let us action on matters of how do we manage debt moving forward, including dealing with the deficits. Let us make a very decisive decision. What do we do with taxation that has to do with fuel, because that is being translated to every part of the economy. And let us action. There is a whole report on merging, selling state-owned enterprises. In fact, I think PBO and Bwana Masinde is here, did an estimate that if you were to sell, if you were to privatize some of them, I think will make about 30 billion annually. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now give him the floor to tell us whether he plans to do something about them. And this is the beauty of this engagement and this dialogue, is that you have an opportunity to say what you have said to other institutions. Bilo has been very well heard in the media, and now he can be heard by Kenyans. And the CS can hear him, both CS National Treasury and Energy. So, Professor.
Thank you very much, members and the co-chairs and everybody else who is listening. It's actually a very informative debate, which actually can push me even to ask questions. But I would make sure that I don't do that. The DNA in me will be suppressed. The DNA in me is that I'm a teacher. So I would suppress that, Your Excellency. You already are familiar with that. But I wanted to find out, I want advice from you, Your Excellency, co-chair, and Bwana Kimani Ichung'wah, the co-chair. Should I first of all comment on what has gone through, or should I first of all do I had some written submission on the 3 areas that I was asked to talk about. But I'm also, they also interlinked with some of the issues that have come up.
I think the best, my view, Kimani may have a different view, is you please make your presentation.
Okay.
And then after that comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without necessarily repeating what has already been said.
Okay. I would, and I think the statement I started with was on the cost of living and also related issues to that. And what I did was to prepare some responses that would actually try to explain where we are. Because I think, I'm sorry to say that sometimes when we find ourselves in a problem, we start thinking that that problem has just emerged. It has been there. It is the problem that we failed to arrest the problem that we find ourselves in the same problem. So in fact, when I looked at this, I said, yes, it is important for us to look at the cost of living. But also we have to also ask ourselves, how is it computed? How does it come about? Why? Why are we beaten twice by this problem? And it has come up several other times. So there, in this presentation, I want to look at the cost of living. I want to look at the implications of the Finance Act 2023. I also want to look at the implications of what has come so severally on the removal of any taxes, levies, and charges to cushion Kenyans against high cost of living and their attendant cost to the economy. Let me start off with the cost of living. Honorable co-chairs, let me start by defining the cost of living. And this is the amount of money that people need to spend in order to buy the basic goods or services such as foods, clothes, and payment for, especially and even in terms of where they live. I think Abraham has used that as trying to define who is below the poverty line. But the poverty line is actually composed of a survival kit, so it could be different, but it's something that we can come back to. And the cost of living is often used to compare how prices of goods and services have changed over time, over a period of time, and given the area or in a given area, but more importantly, how expensive is it computed or is it shown in terms of to live in a particular area versus another. That's why you find that we have a basket of goods that are measured every month, and every 3 months there's a survey for different cities in the country and 3 different categories of people: higher, medium, and low income basket of goods. So it's computed as an average of that. But what are the factors that drive the cost of living? First is to understand that the cost of living is actually measured through the Consumer Price Index. And it is reported every month by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. And the cost of living, the Consumer Price Index by tracking changes of the prices by the consumers in the targeted basket of goods and services. Over time. It has remained above the government range of 5.25, let's say 5% and 2% radius or dimension from both sides. That is 7.5% and 2.5%. That range, above that range means, especially a high, it means that inflation is high. It's in a regime of high inflation. And this is from June 2022 to June 2023. And that means that you can actually argue that the cost of living was high during that period. The policy range is well percent on the other side. And we do believe that when it is below the 2.5%, we believe that it's deflation. And when it's above, it's high inflation, above 7.5%. And this is mainly as a result of commodity prices, especially food and fuel. And this has come due to multiple shocks. And so many people have talked about those multiple shocks. The biggest problem of shocks is that, especially from the supply side, is that we don't have solutions from the supply side. You have to bring back the supplies. But if you don't have the supply,